Hi everyone, welcome to DIY Mummy's Minute. Today we're going to make a headstone saddle for Father's Day. So I first want to go over the supplies that I'll be using. If you're going to make a headstone saddle, you first need the attachment piece. This one was purchased at a local floral shop for $5. Michael's Craft Store also sells them with the foam attached. They look a little different and they're a little more pricier, but that's also an option as well. Once you have your attachment piece, you're also going to need the foam. This floral foam was purchased at Dollarama for $2. And then I'm just going to use some zip ties and I'm going to zip tie them onto the attachment piece. And you'll do that in 2 different spots, just securing it on there tightly. You can then go ahead and trim your twist ties using some sharp scissors. You're also going to need some wire cutters as well. So I'm just going to go over the flowers that I'll be using. I'm going to go with a white and blue themed with some green in there as well for Father's Day. The first flower I'll be using is a hydrangea. Hydrangeas are good because they're a larger flower, so they're going to cover a lot of surface area. These ones were purchased at Michael's and they come in a variety of colors to go with any color scheme. I also picked up a lot of greenery. I always use a lot of greenery in my saddles. They're good for fillers. And then you're also going to need them for the bottom half of the saddle just to kind of hang down, and ferns are really good for that. So these were all purchased at Dollarama, ranging from $3 to $1.75 for these ones. And the dollar stores always have a variety of greenery, so go check it out because it's really a budget-friendly option. These were beautiful flowers, Cosmo flowers, $2.50 for a bunch. And they're white, so they're going to match my color theme. These ones were really pretty. I got these at Michael's for this big bunch, and it was in their spring selection, which was on clearance. It was buy one, get one free, so an awesome deal there. So these particular bunches I purchased off Temu, TEMU.com. Super cheap, and I was a little worried about how they would turn out, but I actually love them. They come in a variety of different colors and they're really good fillers. You want a good variety, different sizes of flowers, different types of flowers. So I really recommend checking out that site because they do have some really nice floral for that budget-friendly cost. Another flower that I always use in my saddles are roses, and I've been really having a hard time finding roses at a budget-friendly cost. So I tried these blue. They're beautiful blue, so it really matches my color scheme. They're from Amazon, and I'll post my affiliated link below, but it comes in a box of 25 for $19.99, so less than $1 a rose, and I was really happy with the quality of the roses as well. So definitely a budget-friendly option. So once you have all your flowers, you have your attachment and foam in place, go ahead and plug in your hot glue gun, and let's go ahead with creating this Father's Day saddle. So I'm first going to start with adding my bigger flowers. So I'm going to go with the hydrangeas. You'll take your wire cutters and you're going to cut off each stem because you want them all separate. That way you can distribute it throughout the saddle. You can go ahead and get rid of the leaves, but set the leaves aside because we can use them later as fill-ins to really make the saddle full. So once you have your hydrangeas prepped and each stem taken apart, you can then go ahead and add them to your foam. So you'll just apply a little bit of hot glue to the stem of the flower, and then you're going to place it into the foam. So whatever I'm adding to one side, I'm going to add to the other side so it's symmetrical. And then whatever I'm adding to the front, I'm also going to add to the back to make it look similar as well. And same with the sides. Whatever you're adding to one side, you're going to add to the other side. Next, I'm going to add a couple of roses. So you do need to place the stem onto the rose head. And I just applied a little hot glue as well. It was really easy to do. Then I'm going to go ahead and trim my stem, apply some hot glue, and place it into the foam. I placed the roses in between the hydrangeas just because they are so pretty. I really wanted to make them a focal point and really stick out in the front. So I'm going to continue to add a couple more hydrangeas, and I'm going to place one on either side. Again, whatever you're adding on one side, you want on the other side. Next, I'm going to add some peonies to my saddle. These ones were from Temu. Again, I really recommend that site. Very budget friendly and the floral is gorgeous. So I'm going to go into either corner. Again, whatever goes in one corner is going to go into the other corner. So I'm going to continue adding the floral from that particular bouquet and some of the others that I got from Temu. As you notice, when I'm cutting the stems from the bunch, the greenery that's attached, you want to push it up to the front before you stick it into the foam, and that's really going to increase your surface area, give your saddle some greenery, and it's really going to fill this saddle in for less of a cost. Plus it gives you a nice variety throughout the saddle. So once I get a sense on what the sides are going to look like, I can then go ahead and start with my top half of the saddle. So I'm going to add some more pretty blue roses, one on either side, and you can see that the saddle is starting to take place now. It's looking beautiful. So I'm also going to add a hydrangea to the very top of the saddle, and that's really going to fill in that top because it's a nice big flower. So now we have the shapes of the sides and the top. I want to go ahead and add some greenery to the bottom, and this is going to flow down, kind of covering that attachment. And ferns are a really good greenery to do this because they're a long leaf and they really look nice on these saddles. So I'm going to first go ahead and cut the bunches into single stems, and usually each stem has 2 to 3 leaves attached to it. So again, whatever you're adding to one side, so if you have a stem that has 2 leaves, you're going to add the same stem to the other side. So you're going to do this all the way around the saddle, having the fern leaves pointing downwards. With the dollar store ferns, some of the leaves did fall off, so I still use them because I did want to make this budget friendly. I took the leaves and I just hot glued them together, added a little piece of wire so I was able to stick it in the foam, and it turned out exactly the same, and I was able to use all the pieces of the fern. So once I have the shape of the bottom part of the saddle, the sides and the top, now is the time to go ahead and start filling everything in. So I'm just going to continue with adding stems of floral into the greenery to fill in all of the spots that are vacant. I'm going to go ahead and add these Cosmo flowers that I got at Dollarama. And again, I'm going to cut off the greenery and I'm going to attach it to the bottom of the floral petals using my hot glue gun, just as an added touch. You can see they kind of stick out from the floral and it gives it some greenery throughout the saddle. When you're sticking your floral into the foam, make sure your stem is about 2 inches out from the foam. Try to keep that same height with each of your stem, and that way you'll get that nice globe shape on the tops and the sides of your saddle. So now I'm going to take those leaves that I got from the hydrangea bush and I'm going to add them back into the saddle. So I'm just going to apply some hot glue onto the leaves and I'm going to stick them to the underside of the petals of the hydrangeas. So each place where there's a hydrangea, I'm going to add 2 leaves to the bottom or the sides of the hydrangea. And again, we're using this as fill-ins, and it's really adding some more color to the saddle as well. They're a little different green than the ferns that we're adding, so it's really turning out nice. So here's a little view of what those hydrangea leaves are looking like. So I'm just going to continue adding these hydrangea leaves to each of the hydrangeas placed on the saddle. So as I continue to add more floral, these spaces get smaller and smaller. So the flowers I'm using are going to get smaller as well. So these are kind of like a blue lavender. I'm just going to go ahead and unwrap it, and then we're going to cut each stem off, and I'm going to put a few of these into the saddle as well. So these ones have nice long stems. So what I'm going to do is add them to the bottom, and you can point them downwards like your fern leaves and kind of add some layers to those ferns. You can also take them and you can bunch all the flowers up into the, so push all of the flowers up to the very top, and then it creates a little bunch, and you can add them as fill-ins as well to the top or the sides or wherever you need it. So there's what the bunch looks like, and then you can see where I added them on the bottom, kind of hanging down with those ferns. Before I filled up all of the spaces, I decided I wanted to add this cute little personalized item. I got it at Michael's in the spring section for buy one get one free, and I thought it would look really nice in this Father's Day saddle. So I'm going to add that to the front, and it will just give this saddle a special touch. So I'm going to continue adding floral until this saddle is nice and full and I'm happy with the outcome. So here's the finished product. I think this turned out so pretty, and I think this is really going to look special on that special Father's Day headstone. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and it inspires you. Please like and subscribe for more DIY fun.